Okay, so I already wrote a review for this episode, but I'm going to have to do it again simply because I do not remember what I had said and the video that I literally just made that somehow got deleted. So y'all gonna have to bear with me because I'm just rolling through the punches. I made so many good I went into detail about this episode and I broke this episode down. I cannot remember everything I said off the top of my head, but y'all gonna have to roll with the punches and bear with me. So we start off with at the beginning of the episode, we had this really cute moment with Andi and the Chargers. Every time, every Andi Mack episode, we always start off with Andi, Buffy, Bowie and Bex. And they're always having cute moments that don't correlate with the episode, just random family moments that I really enjoy personally. And then we jump into the theme song. So kind of just like in the beginning of the last episode, you had the board game, then you had the crossword and all this other stuff. Like these family moments, like I really enjoy seeing Andi with her parents. I think it's really cute. It has no context over the rest of the episode, but I really enjoy it. Um Bowie and Bex. Bowie and Bex were the stars in this episode. I did not believe in the chemistry before, but in this episode, I believed it. Like, I really believed it. Just the way they were laying in the couch, you could just really tell that they are just so into each other's personal spaces. They are so comfortable invading each other's space. Their energy was in sync. Even the whole little foot thing, they were both reading separate books on the couch, and her feet was laying across Bowie. They really looked like a couple. And I know at first when they started, they didn't really know each other, but now they are more solidified and comfortable in their roles. I wouldn't be surprised. I know they're with other people in real life, but honestly, truly, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like some type of chemistry there. I believe it because in the kiss that they had, that was the most passionate kiss I ever seen. Like I really believe that they are a couple, and they really brought that to the forefront with the actors and everything. For when they were just talking about their lives together, I can picture you old and this. You could just tell there was just so much love there. And I know I bullshit and I talk about how I can't wait for them to get married. I'm just so ready and this and that and the third. Me personally, I complain about it, but I also really love it because it shows what really goes down. First, you have the proposal, then you have the rings, then you have the cake testing, then you have the sending out the invitations and, making like the little what to bring to the wedding. Then you have to do dress shopping and all that. There's stages to this and I really enjoy it. Um, yeah, it was just a wonderful moment. Honestly, when Bex said, "Oh, Andy's going to Amber's house or whatever," she was like, "So what do you want to do?" My first thought was like, "Oh my God, they about to have sex," but then I realized that, oh shit, this ain't ABC Family. This is Disney. So of course, I backtracked and I was like, they're going on a date. Fast forward, we see Annie and Buffy, and they're on these stone steps and they're talking to each other, and Buffy has this plan that she wants Annie to go to, and she basically says, I want to do a dance party. I want it all dance movies, just everything dance. And we can do it tonight. And you could tell that Buffy was really excited about spending some time with Andi one-on-one. And, she was really excited about just, being with her best friend. She was like, we can do it tonight. And then Andi breaks the news to her, like, I can't do it tonight because I'm supposed to be going to a party with my girlfriend Amber. Buffy's face drops and she goes, oh. And then, and then Andi tries to make it up for her. And she was like, you know what? We can do it tomorrow night. And then Buffy goes, I can't because I'm going to be spending the day with my boyfriend, Walker. It just seems like everybody is just doing their own thing. And it happens, like the way it just happens. It doesn't mean that they're just falling apart. It just means that they have their own lives now. So, everybody just has their own lives now, Like, they're still close. It's just that everybody is making new friends. They're connecting with other people. They have, their own thing. Buffy now has a boyfriend. She's now captain of the basketball team. So she has that going on. Andy's hanging more out with Amber and learning more about things that they have in common. Cyrus is hanging out with TJ, that. Jonah is really into his music. Jonah, I don't know if he broke up with that girl yet, but, he had a girlfriend at one point. So everybody is just doing their own thing. It doesn't mean that they're less close. It just means that they have their own lives now. They're not how they were before. It's not always about the quintuplets, not what is it? Quadruples, whatever, four. It's not always about the musketeers, now, there's no people entering, so, you just have to adjust to it. It's nothing sad. It just means that you're just growing up. It just happens. I would like to apologize again because I'm trying to remember things that I had said before. Okay, so I had went into depth into this Cyrus and Jonah scene. Like, I ripped it to shreds. Like, I literally did. So let's see if I can still analyze this like I did the first time. So, Jonah is hanging out with Cyrus, and we have this really cute Cyrus moment, and they're playing ping pong, right? And Cyrus is winning, and you could just tell, like, since he's been hanging out with TJ, his coordination skills are amazing. He's more driven, he's beating Jonah at every turn. He's winning, and it makes me really proud. It makes me really proud. They're having their good moment, and then lo and behold, his boyfriend TJ comes downstairs, and automatically the air gets uncomfortable. They are talking, and TJ and Cyrus, they just vibe together. So it's one of those things where TJ just has a way, like, when they're talking to each other, their energy is just so in sync, right? His attention was on Jonah. His attention, as soon as TJ came down the stairs, Cyrus was more TJ, if that made sense. And it's like they were interacting with each other how they would interact with each other if Jonah wasn't there. So Jonah obviously feels uncomfortable by the familiarity of the air, and he feels uncomfortable because, this was a moment between him and his best friend, and TJ, just being TJ, stole it. That was my initial thought when I seen it. It's like when you want to hang out with your best friend, and then all of a sudden her boyfriend comes, and then all her attention is automatically on her boyfriend. That was the feeling that I was getting. And you just automatically leave the situation because you feel like you're going to be a third wheel. And what ends up happening is Jonah ends up doing exactly that. He leaves. He feels uncomfortable when he wants to go. And, he gives TJ the ping pong, and he was like, yeah, something came up, I want to go. And then, Cyrus is just like, yo, what's wrong, And he was like, yeah, I just don't want to do it. And, TJ being TJ is, he's very good at reverse psychology. So what he was trying to do is he was trying to get, Jonah to stay. So he was like, oh, he's just upset because you're winning and this and that and the third. And then, and then, everything is like really playful, really happy. And, Cyrus is into it. He's laughing, he's smiling, TJ smiling, they're looking at each other. And then, he's talking to Jonah, and, Jonah was like, no, it's because you're here. And then all of a sudden, everything just gets dead quiet. Just gets dead quiet. It gets really uncomfortable. because it's just like, that was so fucking unnecessary. And then it was just one of those things where I was just like, did you forget that he helped you at the bar mitzvah? And then Cyrus even talks like, Jonah was wrong. Like, we're past that. And then we end up getting a flashback. And I was just like, I was so excited for it because the last time we saw a flashback was with Cece and Bex. And it was about the parenting situation with Andi. And I was so excited. For a good flashback. And then we end up finding the reason. We end up finding out that Jonah and TJ were on the Little League team, and then where did I leave off at? I'm sorry. They were on the Little League team, and then you end up finding out that Jonah had this jersey that meant a lot to him. It had his lucky number 21 because of it was a player that he liked that had 21, and TJ ends up taking his jersey, and they almost get into a fight. You end up finding out something really good. We finally find out about Jonah's parents. One of his parents his dad was the coach of the Little League team. So that was a good thing to know for the fandom. But when you end up finding out that TJ is the reason why Jonah doesn't try out for basketball and football or anything like that, the pettiness of it all, I was just so like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? It was just like, I can't imagine as a person making my life revolve around this person just to avoid them. Like, the level of pettiness that hold was unbelievable to me. Like, because of that one accident, Jonah swore off basketball, football, anything. He did anything that he could avoid TJ. Meanwhile, TJ didn't even know who Jonah was. He only knew Jonah through Cyrus. So all this time, Jonah went out of his way to avoid TJ, while TJ was sitting unbothered. So for years, he'd been dwelling on this moment. He'd been thinking about this moment of why he can't do anything like that. And because of something that happened when they were 6 over a jersey. How sad is that? And I think that what really pissed me off is that Jonah finally admitted to himself that Frisbee isn't a real sport. The same shit he got mad at Amber for saying, he says to himself that Frisbee's not a real sport. And he said, it is, but come on. The same Frisbee team that he was trying to guilt trip Andi into being in with the goddamn to take that picture for the yearbook, right? And then it turns out that he really doesn't even give a fuck about Frisbee. And he's the captain. But he went through all that length to get Andi to be in that yearbook photo for a cause that he didn't even really care about. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. I can't imagine just living my life around this. And then the crazy part is TJ didn't even know. He didn't even care. You've been trying to avoid him for years. He didn't even know who you were until he met Cyrus. Dwell on that. You was thinking about him all these years, and he wasn't thinking about you. Ridiculous. And when TJ was sitting with Cyrus and he was just like, I know it may sound, I guess what was it, childish for, holding this grudge, and then Cyrus was like, no, and I was like, yes, it is. It is. When I see my enemies, I walk into a room unbothered as fuck. They can't shake my day. They can't make me feel something that they can't influence me or keep me away from something that I want to do. Ridiculous. You thinking about them and they not thinking about you. Wow. And it's true what they say. The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifferent. Because when you love someone, you always have them in your heart. You're always loving them. When you hate someone, they're always on your mind. When you're indifferent, you do not care about anything about them. You don't care what they do. You don't care what they drink. You don't care what they eat. You don't care what they think. You don't care about them in general. You just don't care about them existence. When you reach the level of indifferent, when you are so unbothered by somebody else's presence, that's when you know you're over someone. And when they say forgiveness is not for them, it's for you, that shit really does ring bells. It does. It really does. Because it just reminds me of a situation. Because when I was in New York, when I was a young child, I had a best friend named Jade. And Jade ended up doing some really fucked up shit to me. And I never forgot her name. I never forgot her face. A few years later, fast forward, I ended up seeing her on Facebook. And I ended up texting her because I hated her so much. And I finally slid her DMs and I was just like, do you remember who I was? And she said, oh my God, no. Did you go to my school? And she was just so excited to have someone who went to her elementary school or whatever. And you know what? She didn't, like, when I talked to her, she didn't know who I was. She didn't know what she did. And immediately I forgave her. I was like, wow. She didn't even know who I was. So I understand where Jonah is coming from, but what happened to me, that, like, what she did to me was not over no fucking stupid ass jersey. It was way fucking deeper than that, which I would take to my fucking grave, and I would never tell no fucking body because I forgave her and I forgave myself. So I'm past that situation, but come on, bro. Come on. And I think what really made me upset was when when Cyrus pulled out the photo and TJ was Cyrus and Jonah was like, see, I'm right. And then so was TJ. TJ was so confident that he was right. And then Jonah goes, what are you talking about? It's a 21. And then TJ goes, and then Cyrus had this look on his face. He was like, TJ, it is a 21. And then TJ goes, oh. That killed me. That really killed me because I was just like, the fact that he had to explain his dyslexia for something that fucking stupid that I don't even know if he was comfortable to say it at the time, but the fact that he had to explain himself to Jonah like that, I was mad. I was mad. And if you notice, like, he ends up saying, that looks like a 21 to you, but to me that looks like a 12. And he ends up talking about his dyslexia. They bond. It's a really sweet moment, quote unquote. But honestly, if TJ would have never said about his dyslexia, he would have never gotten that apology or that thank you when he helped Jonah at the bar mitzvah. That wasn't even a thought. He was still reminiscing about some shit that happened when he was 6. If that never would have happened, he never would have got that fucking apology. Never. He never would have got that thank you, that apology about the bar mitzvah. And the look on Jonah's face, he felt stupid. And I was like, yeah. That blew my mind. I couldn't. I couldn't. And then let's talk about Andi. Can we just talk about how cute Amber and Andi looked? Andi had on that yellow top. It was really cute. And then you could tell that Andi designed her pants and she put the yellow, was it daisies on it or something? It was so adorable. They both were wearing tank tops and jeans and they were at the party. Um, Bowie had a right to be upset about Andi going to a party because she said she was going to a sleepover. But um Beck said at the beginning of the episode she's staying over at Amber's. There were no talk about her going to a party like that. And then on top of that, Andi's in middle school, Amber's in high school. So Andi was going to a high school party. Now, if we don't take it in Disney context, Andi is going to a party that could have possibility have alcohol, drugs, weed, sex, and all that. So that's what happens at high school parties. But this was like G-rated high school party in like a warehouse or something, right? And they end up having fun. And then she ends up losing Amber in like 2 seconds of being there. She ends up texting Bowie to come get her. Ridiculous. She texts Bowie to come get her when she could have just texted Amber, I'm near the snacks. Where you at? Ridiculous. And I felt so bad for Amber because it was just like Amber calls Bowie. Bowie comes. He's yelling at Amber immediately tries to defend Andi. She says, this is the Andi's fault. This is my fault. And then the father's like, Bowie's like, no, this is, but Andi can make choices of her own. And, as soon as they get outside, Andi's like, oh my gosh. She was like, that was great acting or whatever and stuff like that. She was just so happy. She was so happy to leave Amber. And that pissed me off because it's just like, you left Amber at the party by herself, right? And you called your mommy and daddy 2 seconds you being there? What? If I lose my friend at a party, I'm like, girl, I'm near the snacks. Where you at? Girl, I'm going to the bathroom. Where you at? My friends never leave my sight because I need to make sure I know where they at and they're safe at all times. What? And she calls her mommy and daddy? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And then how happy she was to leave. And then the look on Amber's face, she was like, damn, I got Andi in trouble. What? Ridiculous. I felt so bad for Amber because she was just, you could tell she just really wanted to have a good time with Andi. She took her out to this high school party. They were dancing. Everything was having a good time and Andi fucked it up. It was like she wanted to have fun with her friend because Amber doesn't even really have friends. And then on top of that, you left her at the party to party by her fucking self. And then she gets chewed out by Bowie, which I'm grateful for simply because Bowie's really coming into his own as a father. And you could tell Andi, even though she was upset, she was actually proud of Bowie for being a father to her, for caring about her that much. And then, the family is like having this fun little horse carriage ride. And I'm thinking, damn, Amber's at the party by herself. Any real dad, any real parent would not only take your ass home, they would take your friends home as well and call their parents. That's what a real parent would do. He would say, Bowie should have been like, Andi, you're coming home with me because X, Y, and Z. You told me you would spend the night at Amber's house. And Amber, you're coming home with me because I'm not leaving you here at this party by yourself. That's what a parent would do. The way Amber just came to her defense and the look of her face, I felt so bad for Amber because she's like, damn, this is my fault. Not knowing that Andi was really fucking happy to leave the party. Ridiculous. This is what I'm saying. Like, if y'all ask me to choose between Andi and Cyrus, I'm throwing Andi off a cliff. Y'all already know, if it comes down to it, I like Bambi. I like Andi. But if you ask me to choose, I'm choosing Cyrus. Point blank, period. I am. And then it was like Buffy and Andi had their little moment and their little dance moment, and I was really happy for that because they had a moment. But the only thing that was going through my mind was that Amber's still at that party by herself, and y'all know she don't have no friends. Who the fuck is she talking to at this party? Because she's the mean girl. She doesn't have friends, and Andi is her friend. And while Buffy could be sad about not spending time with her best friend and all of that, Amber doesn't have friends at all. So who do you really feel sad for at the end of the day? I feel sad for Amber because while Buffy, we can always rearrange and we can always make a plan to hang out again, but Amber doesn't have friends at all, and she's stranded at this fucking party. So yeah, I feel bad for Amber. Well, that's the summary of what the hell I was saying in the video. I really went into depth in the original video that I was gonna post my review for. But this is all that I had to say. This is all I remember. These were the key points I put on there because I had my pen and paper, and I watched the episode like 3 times. One by myself live, and I was trying to write down all the things I remember. Second time with my brother on demand, and then I watched it with Smurf Vlogs. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. This is Naya. This is your girl Naya here. Bye, shippers.